He wanted to become an ordinary ophthalmologist, but fate intervened. After the death in a car crash in 1994 of the oldest Assad son, Bashar, the designated heir, Hafez al-Assad asked Bashar to return home. He gave up his studies in London and went back to Damascus. Seen as a shy intellectual, he found himself in the role of successor, something that at the time his father was ruling out.
No, I'm not preparing my son to succeed me. He's never even spoken of it to me. Maybe people are saying it because he's politically active. I've heard that his friends like him and that the people of Syria respect him, but there is no article in the Constitution or in our laws that allows for a relative's right to succession.
The regime then adapted that constitution to suit itself. Within hours of Hafez al-Assad's death in June 2000, the minimum age to become president was lowered from 40 to 34, which was Bashar's age. He stood for election that year unopposed. After 3 decades of dictatorship, Syrians were still unable to freely elect their new president, but some hope was in the air. Shortly after his election, Bashar released 600 political prisoners. He promised to open the economy up and to weed out corruption. It was known as the Damascus Spring, but it only lasted a few months. Assad Jr. soon picked up his father's habits and went back to running what was a severe autocratic regime. Did he do so, as some experts said, under the influence of the Assad family? A number of them were in the higher echelons of power. The country's security apparatus was controlled by his brother Maher and his cousins. Assad's sister Bushra and mother Anissa were also politically influential. The Assad government cracked down on protests in the wake of the Arab Spring. It did so without mercy.
Unfortunately, when things go down to the street and dialogue happens in the street and outside institutions, then chaos ensues. And the reaction to these acts becomes the issue, and what we call mistakes prevail and blood is spilt.
Civil war ensued. He resisted for nearly 14 years. Bashar al-Assad maintained power through repression and support from Russia and Iran. He was toppled in an offensive by rebels that lasted just a matter of days.